I have grown my main Instagram page to 130,000 followers in about 8 months. I even gained 12,000 followers from a single reel. In this video, I'm going to give you 8 tips to go viral as well. Tip number 1 is to observe what's happening on Instagram in your niche. The reel that got me 12,000 followers was based on another reel in my niche that had gone viral. I looked at that reel that had gone viral, and then I created my own spin on that reel, and it went viral for me as well. Generally speaking, if you're trying to come up with your own topics, it's not usually going to work. Unless you've had years of experience creating viral content, what you think is going to go viral probably is not going to go viral. And so at the beginning, it's a much better strategy to be looking at what else is going viral in your niche, and then to base your content off of what's going viral. And then over time, once you figure out what your audience likes, then you can adapt your content. Something to be aware of though is that the topics on Instagram saturate really quickly. So you need to be basing your content off of topics that have gone viral within the last 2 weeks. Just quickly guys, I made a free Framer landing page template. It features the overlapping customer images, the infinite brand slider, a card for video testimonials, cards for regular testimonials, the crossed out pricing, and more. You can find it in the link in the description. The second tip is that generally the longer the reel, the more followers you can get, but the harder it is to go viral. The reel that got me 12,000 followers had about 3.6 million views, whereas I had a reel that got 15 million views and it got me about the same amount of followers, even though it was only an 8-second reel, whereas the talking one was more like 30 seconds. So if you're able to figure out how to get good views on spoken reels that last for about 30 seconds, if you can do that, then you're going to have the opportunity to grow your Instagram page really quickly, especially if you're able to find a content format that consistently does well for you. That's a 30-second spoken format. An example of this is the account for Lorgy. Lorgy creates spoken reels that are about 30 seconds to 1 minute long, and they're about men's self-improvement. And he's able to get high views on those reels. But because they're long reels, he's also able to get lots of followers from his reels. Whereas the accounts that are creating 8-second reels, which is what I was doing, they can get high views and they can also get a lot of followers, but you have to get a lot more views in order to get lots of followers. Another thing about the spoken reels is that they're a lot better for sales because they generate a lot more trust. The next tip is to make sure not to go viral with content that's not within your niche. The problem with going viral with content that's not within your niche is that your followers are not going to engage with your content that's within your niche, but you want them to be engaging with your most important content. And so it's not a good idea to be trying to go viral with content outside of your niche. Even if you think you can get lots of views by creating a certain reel, if it's not within your niche, you shouldn't make it. The next tip is that the topic of the video is the most important thing. Everything other than the topic of the video is not as important. So you need to be aware of what topics are currently going viral within your niche. And this isn't only on Instagram. You can actually have a lot of success by taking topics that are going viral on other platforms such as Twitter, Reddit, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and LinkedIn, and then you take them into Instagram, and as long as they're within your niche, they can do very well. So for example, you might see a thread that went viral on Twitter. Twitter threads that go viral can work very well as carousels on Instagram. So you could take the viral threads within your niche and then turn them into carousels. The next tip is that your followers are telling you what they want. It's very common for people to make reels and carousels that get good views, and then they don't make more reels and carousels that are like the ones that just got good views. You should be trying to make more content that is like the content that has just gone viral for you. If you have a format that's working for you, you should stick to that format until it stops working. The next tip is not to keep making the same content if it's not getting good views. If your content's not getting good views or sales, then you need to change the content. Usually you need to try different topics. You might need to try different formats. So if you've been doing reels, then you might want to try images and carousels. Or if you've been making 8-second reels, you might want to try spoken reels. And remember that the spoken reels can get more followers. So if the views stay similar, then that's not necessarily bad because it can get more followers. There is an exception to this, and that's if you've got a brand new account. If you've got a new account, then you haven't found your audience yet. And you might actually be creating the right content, it's just that you haven't found the right audience. However, once you've made more than 60 posts, then it's probably the case that there is an issue with the content. The next tip is that the content needs to be as to the point as possible. So if there's a hook, you need to have a clear hook. There then needs to be instant delivery on the hook. There shouldn't be a space between when the hook shows and the delivery on the hook. And the hook, by the way, is the thing that draws the person into watching the reel. So for example, a hook would be 8 TED Talks to replace a 4-year college degree, and then you immediately show the TED Talk. The reel should end as soon as the information is delivered. There shouldn't be a space between when the information is delivered and finishing the reel. Otherwise, your watch percentage is going to be really low. This also includes carousels. You don't want to have images on the carousels that don't need to be there. Content can go viral if there isn't a hook, but that content needs to be based on a proven topic, and the delivery of the content needs to be instant. It shouldn't be the case that there's some irrelevant images before the actual delivery. If there's not a hook, the delivery needs to be instant.